We gotta talk about an event today that is shaking up the core foundation of the trading card game world. Make sure you guys smash the link crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So today's story actually broke out of a store that was refusing to sell the upcoming Pokemon set. Now, I gotta give a little bit of groundwork and background here for you. For those of you that don't know, the upcoming Pokemon set has some of the most craziest chase cards in the game's history, or at least, in comparison to modern era times. And people are actually going crazy for this. Now, if you don't keep up in the world of Pokemon or understand why this is so significant out here, you'll always kind of, if you look back at COVID times, you remember a video showing up of people going crazy, pushing in lines and buying up all these Pokemon cards that they could get their hands on at that time. And then we kind of fast forward up into the modern era times. Now, these events happen every once in a while, not on the degree that we saw during the COVID era where people were pushing people over, but, recently a video showed up of some people in Canada pushing at a Costco to buy up the Pokemon 151 reprint product and so forth. And then there's a lot of stories out there as well that I've heard in the more recent times too, of people just not being able to buy product, or people aren't getting into the hobby because it's quote unquote being scalped. Now, I understand that buying up all of the products so people can't open it is a completely different story, but I've been collecting ETBs. We got one of each from the most recent era, which I'm not buying up multiples of these. Like, there's nothing wrong collecting for like a rainy day fund 10, 15 years down the line per se. But, the big major complaints that I currently read are this hobby is scalped. I can't get product open. And oddly enough, people complain that cards are somehow unobtainable, which doesn't make sense to me because I can go on TCG Player and I can buy a deck to play in Pokemon for like $40 on the competitive scene. So that statement is not true by any stretch of the imagination. If you're searching for raw cards to get graded in Gem Mint 10, then yes, probably. But then, you're an absolute worse issue. And I can tell you, you can probably walk into most major game stores and they'll probably have the tools that you can need to build a deck. So there's your background. So what in the world is happening with this most recent set, and a store basically flat out saying, hey, we're not going to sell this due to the safety of our staff. And I can respect that. I really can. But at the same time, playing devil's advocate, I did read a couple comments today going from people being like, well, if you're not going to sell it, then you're just going to keep it for yourselves. Doesn't that look worse on the flip side of things? And just looking at those comments, I was like, I mean, it could look that way, but like there's a genuine concern here. And the TCG sphere doesn't really understand the craze and potential of this. Even though pull rates are supposed to be like super insanely awful and things like that, if that's the case, people are going to be out here tearing through this product, looking for these cards. And guess what? All those low rarity, all those bad cards, those might not necessarily hit circulation, but there will come outlets that those cards will come available. Why are you chasing high-end cards if you're trying to play the game? You don't need to. This kind of reminds me of the Yu-Gi-Oh player mentality a little bit, where you've got people out here that are complaining that they can't buy their deck in max rarity or afford it, but they can buy the low rarity example for, what Tenpai was. You could buy a low rarity Tenpai core for like nothing, but then they'd be shitting on the internet out here complaining that, they can't afford max rarity. One of these things is very much not like the other in comparison to things. You do not need max rarity in order to play a trading card game. There's a reason why those are often dubbed luxury items, so forth. So there is that. Also, did I mention, since we were talking about the whole scalping thing, Pokemon made these vending machines, I think at Kroger's now, and they get restocks every once in a while, and people were complaining about people waiting in line for hours to buy all of the product. And, I guess you could limit those sorts of things. Actually, I mean, you could, but it's also a vending machine, so, the world of Pokemon right now, I've had, see, this is the thing that really makes me question things. So you've got people out here that are like, this game is so scalped, it's so unobtainable. I mean, like, are you just going out to Walmart? And like, if you're going to a Walmart or, you know, these bigger outlet retail stores in larger cities, like if you live in New York, oh yeah, you're probably not going to get shit. But I can go out here to some of these rural cities, and I've had no problem finding some of these sets. You know, my locals get swamped out day one, sure. And, you know, if you start looking around at like Myers and Walmart, you might find some. But like, why do you need to buy 40, 50 of these ETBs? Like, I don't understand the need to buy the quantity for the average person. Like, I understand that in the world of Pokemon. This is also something interesting I've noticed too. Like, everybody thinks that they're a streamer these days, which is fine. You know, you're welcome to do it, but like, you know, 200 ETBs in, and the average person, yeah, no wonder why another person can't find them. You know, it's all about the thrill. It's all about the chase. It's all about the hunt, and you know, it's an interesting dynamic, and it's gotten to the point that it's endangering people, card stores, upsetting people, and it all around is just, it's an interesting thing. Now, I mean, who knows? I mean, the set's not even dropped yet. We could see, you know, it also depends on how many times Pokemon's going to rewave this thing. All right, and I can guarantee you that probably for the next year, you are probably going to see this set reprinted into the ground, because Konami's going to do what they did with 151. And 151 was really, really printed very, very nicely, actually. Granted, I mean, what are we on, the 4th, 5th wave of 151? And people are still kind of losing their minds a little bit on it. So, I mean, it is a little bit up in the air for sure, but from my deep understanding of the game, Pokemon does do reprints on very popular sets, at least as long as they're still in circulation. So a little bit of patience on that. Also, it's not like people, this is another thing that really, really interests me. You know, I was able to go on the Pokemon Center website, and I was able to pre-order up to 4 of those ETBs on literally, I think, a couple hours after release. My friend was able to go in a couple days later and was able to pre-order these a couple days later. And, you know, you had a couple days to get your pre-orders in. It was no big secret that, you know, you had the opportunity to get these, but you kind of look back at that event and you're like, how are, I guess it's the exact same thing as Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, you know, people just, they choose not to take advantage of the earliest signs. And then they all like to sit here and cry about things when, you know, everybody had an equal opportunity across the board to get in on the early stuff, to get the guarantee from the official website, by the way. You don't even have to pay for it. That's my favorite thing. If you're pre-ordering on the website, you don't have to pay until it literally gets ready to ship. Like, huh? Like, I don't get it. So, this next set, leaving a bad taste in the community's mouth, and it's rippling across all of the TCG verses out here because people are feeling massively unsafe. With stores getting this product, they're afraid that they're going to get pummeled into the ground with this. I would recommend just, you know, checking your local Walmart and just kind of seeing what's going on with it. That's really all you can do at this point. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you. That's all you need to do. You just got to have a little bit of patience, just a little bit, just the tiniest. And, you know, if you're looking at these pre-sale prices, which are being scalped for, what is it, I think 2-3 times retail, why are you FOMOing? Pokemon is very notorious for FOMO. Like, it is crazy to see these prices, man, that people are willing just to go, yeah, fuck it. You know, let's go ahead and just, they got the guarantee on it. Let's go ahead and do this. You know, back in the day, you know, waifu cards like this, you know, were nothing. Well, I mean, I don't think Bridget still is worth too much, but you know, you come up to the modern era out here, you know, the waifu tax and things like this and this are a little bit more expensive than they really should be. But yeah, that's my discussion for today. I don't like what I'm seeing right now, as I'm sure most everybody is not liking what they are seeing either with this. But I got my 2 ETBs coming. I'm not worried about, I'm just going to throw them in a corner, look at them, tell them that they look pretty, and, just kind of do that. I mean, hey, look at this. Look at this. So, this is our ETB collection up here. And you know what? I got to tell you, it's actually been a lot of fun. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.